Working for Diddy for 6 years trained me to have to be perfect.
Working for Diddy?
Absolutely.
I love Diddy. You know, he's a good friend of mine. He's a good guy. Is he a good guy?
I don't want to answer that question.
Oh, wow. I think he's a good guy. I'm going to stick up for him.
Sean Diddy Combs listened in for a virtual court hearing today, asking a New York judge to sentence him sooner rather than later. This was after the mixed verdict at his sex trafficking trial. CBS News legal reporter Katrina Kaufman has been following this case very closely. Thank you very much for joining us. Can you tell us what happened in court today?
Thanks. Sure. This was a rather anticlimactic hearing. It lasted about 2 minutes, but it was audio. Sean Combs' attorney, Mark Agnifilo, was on the line. A couple of the attorneys from the prosecution, Christy Slavic and Emily Johnson, were. And Mark Agnifilo also told us that Sean Combs was listening in as well. But essentially, shortly before this hearing happened, Agnifilo had sent in a letter to the judge. He said the parties had conferred and agreed upon a timeline for the sentencing. What they're proposing is September 22nd with a pre-sentencing investigation report, which is essential before the sentencing happens, done by September 5th. Last week, the judge had tentatively set October 3rd, so this doesn't actually push things up that much, but the defense said they want this as expedited as possible, and it sounds like perhaps this is the latest they could agree upon.
Please help me!
FBI's investigation of Diddy's mansion tunnel uncovers a shocking discovery, Part 6. They made a surprising discovery. In a previous investigation, the FBI found adult toys and some torture devices in the tunnel at Diddy's mansion that may not have been intended for adults. After being investigated by Ali Carter, he claimed that the tunnels connected the school, something the FBI had not discovered. So they decided to go back and investigate the tunnel more deeply. As they entered one of the branches of the tunnel, which, as Ali Carter had said, connected to an elementary school. This discovery adds a layer of mystery to Diddy's tunnel incident, because combined with previous discoveries, Diddy seems to be doing things to minors that he shouldn't be doing. Baby oil, adult toys, children's clothing. Every clue seems to confirm the hypothesis, which is chilling. And many minors may not be at his disposal, so he prepared baby oil. But these baby oil was found to be date-rape drugs after testing. It's very bad. Diddy's going to prison for the rest of his life. But that's just one elementary school. And if it's like Ali Carter said, there should be middle and high schools, which the FBI hasn't found yet. I will bring you the latest update as soon as possible. Follow this page and check the comments for Part 7.
One time he locked me in containers with his shipment of kids. There were kids in there that didn't speak English. There were kids that were sick and that were already dying. There were babies. There were babies that were 6 years old, and I'll never forget them just crying, and everybody was just staring at them. Everybody was just staring at each other. Nobody knew whether or not to move. I was freaked out. And I got up and I held her. And they opened the truck and they took her from me. Because they said she was already sick. And they killed her. Her name was Bailey.
And I'm talking like, you know how you put up a little birthday bag, like when you go to a birthday party, and before you can leave, you take one of those little birthday bags off the table, and then there's toys and like all this stuff for coming to the party. Yeah, instead of that, there's children. They call them party favors. How do you think the kids are doing? You hear the adults saying that they were on liquid IVs after the parties.
Sometimes I was so drugged that I was carried into a job, dressed, and then placed in a room and waiting for my order because I couldn't move myself. We were in tunnels, was able to meet celebrities, actors, was able to speak with somebody that was so cocky. And I remember telling him, I know you from Look Who's Talking, that's all. And I remember everybody laughing at me because I was 15 and I'm like, the only thing that I know you from, John Travolta, is Look Who's Talking. I know there were many comedians, Kathy Griffin, Robin Williams. I was on an order for for Joe Biden.
What?
There was an orgy party. There were certain people that I seen down there from Beyonce, Jay-Z. You don't tell on P. Diddy. You watch what you say, you watch what you do. At some point, I stopped fighting people. I started to accept the fact of what I was told, that I was special enough to be with this person. I was special enough to be in the eyes of a celebrity or somebody who was on the radio or on TV. And I accepted that.
You don't understand what people do. Have you seen that picture of there's like a little baby on the floor? I'll post it. I will probably get blocked on here again if I put it on my story.
Y'all, this just went from conspiracy to confirmation real quick. Cat Williams just dropped a bomb on live, allegedly revealing the exact reason why Allie Carter disappeared. And trust me, the feds, Diddy, and the elites do not want you hearing this. And now, Cat is connecting the dots.
Children, for 6-year-olds, for 7-year-olds, they walk into an auction and they will say, like, I will buy for a test sample of 2 fingers. I will buy for a test sample of a full hand.
Allie Carter, the woman who's been warning us for years, just resurfaced in a chilling new clip. And what she says about Diddy's trial, the fires in LA, and the missing kids, it's sickening. But what's worse, nobody's protecting her. Let's rewind real quick. Back in 2020, Allie Carter hit the internet.
There's 2 that's already down. There's a raid that's about to go on. And on top of that, it's somebody that has something to do with an affidavit that I have already released. I am telling you, we know that it's coming. I knew it was coming when I made sure there were sworn and legal affidavits already ready 6 to 8 months ago. I'm telling you right now that they're about to grab them and they're about to announce it. When they announce it, we got a problem. We got a big problem. Because there's ways that this is about to go. I think a lot of you guys are everybody's like, we're ready. We're ready until it's happening, and then everybody's like, well, I wasn't ready. Yeah. There's gonna be a lot of that. There's no other way to get ready.
Diddy just got a standing ovation in prison. Following the verdict in his federal trial, his lawyer, Mark Agnifilo, claims Diddy returned to his cell block to a full-on round of applause from fellow inmates. Apparently, they were cheering because, as they put it, we never get to see anyone who beats the government. In their eyes, he landed a major win. The jury did acquit him on the biggest federal charges he was facing, including sex trafficking and racketeering. But the story doesn't end in there. And he wasn't totally cleared. Diddy was still convicted on 2 Mann Act counts. And prosecutors are pushing for a sentence of at least 4 years in prison. He's already been behind bars for about 10 months. When his team asked for bail while he awaits sentencing, the judge said no, claiming he's still a danger to the community. So while he might be getting applause from some on the inside, the legal system has a very different take on his situation.
Yeah, we gotta wait till October 3rd for the sentencing. But if you had to predict, what you think the outcome gonna be?
He's gonna be in jail till October 3rd? That's crazy.
For now, yeah.
Damn. July, August, September, October. 3 months? For sentencing? That's why he was trying to get home. And then say you do get sentenced and they sentence you. So each count holds 10 years. You know, he's a first-time offender. He done, 10 months? My prediction, just by being P. Diddy, if it was anybody else, my prediction would be 5 or 6 years in, rest on probation, credit time, sir, with credit time, sir. For him, seeing what they gave, seeing New York as a joke, and seeing what they did for 6ix9ine. Why did Why did 6ix9ine get locked up and go in Diddy's cell? 6ix9ine is a confidential informant. If he gets locked up, they have to house him with confidential informants. How did he get housed with Diddy? I never even thought about that. How do you get housed with Diddy on a federal charge? They share, you know, they was in the same cell, right?
Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah,
6ix9ine last case. How? He's a confidential informant. You have to keep him from threats.
I don't think they was in the same cell, but they was in the same housing thing. But yeah,
not cell, right. But yeah, but that's, bro. It's obvious he's an informant. He's a fan. He's the police. I'm not fucking with him. I'm not. Matter of fact, I don't got no beef with you. I don't want to do nothing with you. God bless you and your kids. Don't turn your energy towards me. Niggas are fed, man. He just like a group of people I know. They control everything with money. I see a lot of people happy now, posting all little memes and shit. A lot of little toilets out there happy and shit. Urines. A lot of little urinals. They happy. One girl wanted to test. One girl said she would testify if she wasn't afraid he was gonna get out, and she didn't. She knew. She got a baby from him. They didn't want him. I could have put up a better fight than that. Just let the people's story be heard. Let the jury hear their story. That's it. Let them determine if they lying or not. That's it. That's all. That's all I'm saying. Do your due diligence. That's all I ask. But yeah, man. So that's where I'm at with it, man. All right.
I've got one that can see.
I was talking to Suge, and he feels like they might hold Puffy the next year to try to tie him to that Tupac case.
If they can get some credible and some concrete evidence, yes. I don't think there's any out there. I tried to tell people where to start looking at long time ago. So that check was cashed. It had to be. They could have went and did the homework on it and see where it came from. Then they start questioning the people that wrote it to them or gave it to them. They could have did that. Bruh, I don't know why they didn't. But it ain't for me to do.
So you really believe that it's something to that check? You really believe that Diddy might have put a hit on Tupac? Because Roger Burns, he did say that Diddy wanted to shoot her. So, I mean, it sounds like he is capable.
Well, the thing about it is, I know a little bit more about a couple of things that Roger Burns probably don't know because I was there and when Roger wasn't there. So I know what he's capable of doing. You understand? And I heard Suge analogy about Corey and the whole 9 yards. We know he's capable of doing some dubious, diabolical, crazy shit to other people. We know that to be true. We're not worried about that. We're not thinking about that. You understand what I'm saying? We're not worried, we're not thinking about that. But we have to understand this. If they have some concrete evidence that links Puff to that car that killed Tupac, he ain't have to be there. He didn't have to be there. If they get some concrete evidence, they're going to bring him in and add him to the case. They just don't have no concrete evidence.
Right. Check your phone right quick. I want to get your reaction to Puffy reaction when he beat the Rico.
They drew a picture of Puff in the courtroom, falling to his knees when he didn't get the RICO charge. Bruh, what did I say? This was about money. This is about him saving his money. This is about him not have to be worried about losing his empire or whatever he got left. Yeah, it could have gave him 30 years, but he's a first-time offender. And they ain't have him in there for murder or anything. He fell to his knees because that's where he used to being on. And it ain't for God. It ain't for God, bro. He fell to his knees because he knew whatever money he got, they can't touch it. They won't be able to touch it because he's still getting time. He's still facing charges. And RICO, he'd have been facing 20, 30 years, maybe life. And what else would have happened? He'd have lost all his wealth. That's all about not losing his wealth. That's what I believe. Now, everybody else can believe whatever they want to believe. Diddy team is trying to get the thing moved up for his sentencing and his time, but they can't rush the Department of Corrections. They have to do their investigation, their pre-sentence report, and give it back to the judge. And that's anywhere from 30. That's anywhere about from 30 to 45 days. You're going to have to wait just like everybody else.
So you believe they only got Puffy because they wanted these tapes. What do you think is on these tapes?
Bro, you got to realize you got people like Prince Harry. Prince Harry was at a Diddy party. You got some of the same Universal executives. Diddy made it cool for, I'm just going to say it like this, man, whites to hang out with the hood dudes. Dude from the hood, he made it cool and safe for them to hang out with the white executives. They used them for that. They used them enough, whereas that now you got white executives doing Diddy-like parties. Remember the dude from, Frantic? The clothing line, the sports line? They was mad because they didn't get invites to his party because he was doing white parties, doing parties like Diddy. Now, I ain't talking about the freak-off party part of it, but I'm just saying, he was doing those parties, and everybody, there was rappers, or I think Stephen A. Smith said something about he was upset that he didn't get no invite. So it was those parties that everybody want to be at. So Diddy have on tape, he taped everything. He taped everything and taped everybody. You remember in this trial it came up. In this trial, it came up. What came up in this trial? It came up that his assistant was right there. And Diddy told him, "You want to show your loyalty to me?" Gave him a condom and told him to sex the girl right there. He asked the girl, was she all right there? She said, yeah. That's crazy, bro. So now, you think certain politicians, you think certain actors, actress, they drinking, smoking, we know they love pink cocaine. You know they got weed all in the air. They dropping ecstasy pills. They dropping some other kind of sexual pill. Man, do you think he ain't got nobody on tape, bruh? So now, can y'all go get those tapes? If he was blackmailing Cassie and Cassie's mother had to give him $20,000 for her tapes allegedly, you think he ain't bribing nobody else? Or people ain't worried about that that they got to do business with him because they know what they did at the Diddy party? So those tapes was important. And the federal government, when they showed some of the stuff that was happening in there, you could see the jury cringing. So it was easy for them to come back with those charges for the sex offenses, or the prostitution for selling and promoting prostitution. It was easy for them to come back with that. Listen to him. Y'all heard the same thing that I heard. When they raided his house, y'all saw the same thing I saw. They took computers, tapes. You think wasn't nothing on those tapes, y'all? You think they didn't log those tapes? Why did they hold up? Yo, I just caught a jewel. They used the tape that Cassie sent them. That Cassie had. They used the tape that Cassie had that they showed to the jurors. Why do you think they didn't use the tape that they got from Diddy house? Because that would have them had to log that in. It would have been public record. And at one given time, when there's a public record out of this trial, you could go see it. You could go get those tapes, copies of those tapes, because it's public record. It would have been public record, bro. It's a dirty game out here, man. It's a real dirty game. They are protecting somebody. Why did Damian Wim, the first prosecutor, he trying to put it off on Trump? Oh, Mr. Trump is coming in office, so I'm going to leave before he get here. Right after he did the Diddy, right after he did the Diddy raid, right after they got the tapes and everything, he retired. Great job. Probably got $1 million house and all that somewhere. Because he definitely quit and tried to put that shit off on Trump. Y'all saw what I saw. Y'all saw what we saw, the same shit. Y'all heard the same thing that I heard. They took over 256 cameras and Who had that many cameras in their house? I don't give a how big the mansion is. It's crazy, man. It's dirty work. Listen, I know it's deeper than what we see. I know it's deeper. Y'all got to know it's deeper, bruh. Why wouldn't they charge this dude with the guns? Why ain't get charged with the drugs? They just put it in the description in the cases instead of charging with it. Why they took 200 some cameras out of there and we ain't see nothing of the footage or the film? We seen Lil Rob footage in films and we seen Cassie footage in films. Why we ain't see that? Because they didn't want that shit to be public record.
I've got one that can see.
I want you to hear something about Mr. Semihaza, Lucifer, Satan, because this lesson is, do you know that Satan doesn't discriminate? I want you to hear something. This is from a lesson that I did last year, and I talked about Mr. Semihaza. This is about 7 minutes, but I want you to hear, and I want you to listen. And when you listen, identify with what the scriptures are saying. See yourself, or even your past self, in these scriptures, brothers and sisters. Listen. And listen with your spirit, not your natural ear. And the words will be on the screen as well. Check this out.
Going to read this beautiful expose about the devil, Satan, who has many names. And you're going to see that in what I read. Ponder on this, brothers and sisters. You're going to love this. The meaning of the sounds of death, coming out of the Melchizedek book, chapter 3. It says, and a voice from heaven said, he calls himself Semihaza, but your name for him is bad. That's right. This is the Most High talking to the righteous watchers who go by the name of the Urkadeshi. Because he is separated from life, and apart from the truth, he is joined to the sounds of death, and he will be the chief of the city of Sinanal, which is a city founded upon the sounds of death. Did you see that, brothers and sisters? All you Urkadeshi, beware of him and take care of Yaxakad and Kava, aka Adam and Eve, who are your treasure. And do not allow the sounds of death to remain in their tender hearts. Continuing in the book of remembrance of Melchizedek, the covenant tablet of Shabuyah. The definition of bad. And it came to pass that bad began to rebel against the definition of all the other rocks and against womanhood. And bad is the original name for the devil. That's right, brothers and sisters. And it was given to him by the Lord, who? Yeshua the Christ, people. For the Urkadeshi, remember, the righteous watchers. And bad is not the opposite of good. Bad is the opposite of purity. Bad is the definition of unclean, and bad is the description of separation and alienation. And it came to pass that all those among the watchers who choose to follow him became just like him, and were known as his angels, or that is to say, the Dekadarshi. Those are your wicked watchers, brothers and sisters. And 1/3 of the watchers of heaven followed to the way with bad. Yes, they did. And all the Urkadishi, those are those righteous watchers, looked, and they beheld the time when bad was chief of the city of Psyop, and he was not loyal nor faithful to those in his city, but he fed off of their feelings that make lies, and he was nourished by their feelings of deception and cunning, and he was insidious, and he loved the feelings of the greed that motivate thieves, and it was delicious to him. And he was drawn to devour the feelings of hate like a meal, and lust was delightful for him, and killing was his goal in all things, because he hated the gift of life. And he is the enemy of purity, and bad fed on these feelings wherever they were found, like a vulture upon a carcass. And like them, he cared nothing for the carcass, and cast it from him when he is finished. Continuing with the covenant tablet of Shabuah. Bad feeds on negative feelings. This is coming from Melchizedek chapter 3. And upon hearing all this, I wondered why bad would abandon the wicked and lose the ones he had with him after leading them astray. But bad is void of loyalty. That's right. He's void of loyalty, brothers and sisters. It's impossible for him towards anything. And he only has attachments to use for his own ends before he discards them utterly with no remorse. And many there will be among men who call him father and pattern their lives after him. And bad fed on these feelings of evil wherever they are found, and he would go from one source of them to another, and he would up and leave the wicked, leaving them lost and humiliated, and in a rage after leading them to their spiritual death. And bad hovers over those among men who feel these things. So be careful, brothers and sisters, to disassociate yourselves from the sounds of death. That's right, brothers and sisters. It's time to awake from spiritual death, because Satan only comes to lie, kill, steal, and destroy. That's all he's about. So don't give him access to you by living in sin. It's time to repent and turn from your wicked ways. Many people need to get into the collection of the books of remembrance. These are the books that Satan doesn't want you to read, brothers and sisters. But I love you, so I wanted to share this with you.
Yes, brothers and sisters. The books that Satan doesn't want you to read. So, that was from the book of remembrance of Melchizedek. So, it's time that we see the importance. If there's anyone that's telling different or saying something different, then you're going against the will of the Most High. These books are critical to our understanding because they expose the truth. I'm going to continue. I hope you enjoyed that, brothers and sisters. That was from a previous lesson here on the page. The book that Satan, Lucifer, doesn't want you to read. Let's continue now. And let me introduce you all to the Decadarchi. Yes, you're like Decadarchi. Yes, you're fallen watchers. Those principalities that have been so influential in us going to the left. And you wonder why I had technical issues earlier, or you wonder why men and people are going against these books. You'll see. The following is a complete listing of the leaders of the fallen watchers. Yes, brothers and sisters. And an account of their true visions, which they rebelled against under the influence. Remember that word, influence of the father of lies, Semihaza, aka Satan, Lucifer, the devil. It's also an account of the rebellious visions that they chose. That's right, brothers and sisters. You know, as we saw in the previous scripture, those spirits that desired what Lucifer desired. Let's get to know them. And let's also maybe see yourself or some past characteristics of them within yourself. That's why it's so important to have these books. Starting with a little bit of a chart here. Fallen watchers. It shows the elements that they are over or control in a sense, or represent, and what their original names meant, and the evil teachings. I'm going to roll through this with the top 20 leaders. But for some people, this is new information. For some, you may be familiar. But this should help you, because I really want you to see that Satan does not discriminate. Neither does his crew of principalities that roll with him, and how they're influencing all of us in this earth. Let's talk about it. There's a chart. Let's start with Semihaza, as you just heard about in the book of Remembrance, Melchizedek. Semihaza, number 1. My name has seen meteorite. Yes, look at that. My name has seen meteorite. Man. Semihaza is the leader of all the fallen watchers. He is the leader of all the fallen watchers. He is the first to fornicate with humans. He has been named Devil, Beelzebub, Satan, Lucifer, Phosphorus, Belial, and others. He is the falling star. We heard about that earlier in John's teachings. He is the falling star that fell to earth that Eve, who was also Kava, found. He is iridescent blues, greens, and blacks. Sounds like a meteorite. He is the leader of all evil, temptation, sin, pollutions, corruptions, filthiness, and rebellion against the Most High. Originally, the Most High made him to be the son of the morning. Profound. He had the definition to herald the authority and legitimacy of Yahshua, because Yahshua is what his name has seen. But Semihaza was jealous and envious of the Messiah, and would not be the language of repentance. Semihaza teaches spellbinding to humans and the cutting of roots. Works like voodoo. Isn't that interesting? He teaches praying against people to hurt them. And a lot of people are doing that too. Praying wickedness on people, praying that people get hurt. But look at that. He teaches praying against people to hurt them, to destroy, take advantage of them, and to murder them with prayer. Wow. He teaches praying against people to hurt them, to destroy, take advantage of them, and to murder them with prayer. You're getting the origins, brothers and sisters, and you see why the enemy doesn't want you reading these books. Semihaza taught Cain the secret that he could pray and use element in an evil way, and Cain was his master because Semihaza had no one else to turn to. He is the master sorcerer, master warrior for evil, the master of self-glory, and using the spoils of war to gain honor and fame. He has from the first made every continuous effort to be the Son of the Most High in order to replace the Messiah. Now, Semihaza is the God with a lowercase g, God of pride and the enmity of humility. The temptation of his imaginings to be worshipped by innumerable human beings was too great, and he chose for evil. Having traveled throughout creation, he was able to establish false visions for those who would follow him. So he too intervened with agency, because we've been given free agency, free will. He interfered with agency to establish the beginning of evil and sin and rebellion against the Most High's created purpose in all things. I wanted you to really see Satan and Lucifer like you never have, brothers and sisters. That's why I brought out this beautiful message about, did you know that Satan doesn't discriminate? We can all identify with these things, but in the books of remembrance, you get the origin of these principalities.
I've got one that can see.